What's the most annoying thing about having a penis vagina? Oh dear, I found a life-changing washing tip for this one. I had some shorts I accidentally got stained because I thought my period was over after 3 days of no blood coming from down there, and then suddenly whoop, blood all over. I searched and found this weird ass washing tip and thought I'd give it a try. Basically, use soap and salt and brush the spot with a toothbrush or any small brush that you don't use anymore. Wait a few minutes, rub again, rinse, then wash in a washing machine like usual. Good as new. Just putting this out there after years with struggling with awful periods, and then brain fog from the pill, and then a traumatizing experience of having an id unsuccessfully implanted. A new paw got me on the ring. I absolutely love it. I was never offered it before and I had no idea it existed. You can remove it during sex and I can't even tell it's there. For real, when you feel something coming from down there, you have to take a wild guess. Like those characters wondering if it was a bird, a plane or Superman. Is it my period coming much earlier than usual? Is it normal discharge or a discharge I should be worried about? Did I just stain my underwear or did I also stain my pants? And then you gotta find a bathroom while you are freaking out inside, trying to plan your next move in case it's your period ruining your damned clothes. Sigh. I have pretty heavy pain most time, luckily only the first or and second day was at begin cause I noticed light period cramps outside of my menstruation sometimes. Dude gave me a prescription on birth control, but I had the rare side effect of having my period last 2 fucking weeks. And it didn't really help me with my pains. So fuck that. I'm not going through the risk for blood clots, cancer and whatnot so I can have 2-week period. A lot of toilet paper wasted there. BTW, I heard about this new contraceptive for men, in form of a gel that had less and milder side effects, basically because since it gets absorbed through the skin it's needed less of it to work. A pill need to go through the liver, which break down some of substances in the pill, if I'm correct. Well, I want that, for women too. I am one of those guys that can smell it. Sometimes a day or 2 before it starts. My partner is very private so I've never mentioned this. I just make sure to pick some things she likes or restock the necessities from the store for her when I notice. She just assumes I'm randomly being sweet when really, I know what she won't dare say out loud. I pee standing up, when camping or taking a pee break while traveling. I use one of the many different lady products made for this purpose. The one I use is made of hard plastic and I keep it in its own bag for travel. There are soft versions that can fold up and fit in a pocket as well. They work great and it's super fun to stand up and pee. A couple tips though. Always double check that you have 100% contact with the unit and your skin. If even a tiny piece of fabric gets pinched between, you'll pee all over yourself. Also when you finish you have to clench your pee muscles for a couple minutes after so you don't leak. My ex and I were driving back from a house party in a neighboring city once and she was bursting at the seams for a piss, so I pulled over the truck off the highway, took off my trench coat and shirt and used them as a cover as best I could to obscure her from view. Then I held her hand as she popped a squat. I did my best and she was grateful for the help. Hope I did right. If anything goes slightly wrong with my vagina, my nervous system goes off whack and makes it the most uncomfortable thing I have had to deal with. The mishap doesn't even have to be harmful to my health, it just decides to ruin my day. And for some reason my body decides that my period will come and go as it pleases. No clear indication of when it's coming, it just kinda happens. A penis comes with the false responsibility to keep it in the state that is desirable for the situation. You want to have sex? Let's see if your little friend wants that as well. You don't want to have sex and are just hugging your best friend? Might wanna check if everyone voted the same on that one. Wanna come? Let's see if he's ready. Don't wanna come? Seems like he has an appointment later. Too bad. The fact that men are shamed for any of these things they have little control over is beyond absurd, but hey, I've been told we don't have feelings so it's all good, right? Having external genitals means that they are susceptible to damage from attacks or accidents. They are super sensitive. Even the smallest bump in the wrong spot can have a guy falling to his knees. And testicles are super sensitive as well. Make them a little too hot or too cold, or even wear some tight pants and they stop working properly. Also, guys should be able to wear dresses. It's like the perfect garment for people with external genitals. My ex was the same. And, humble brag, I'm built on the large side. No matter how careful we were, what precautions were taken, it was always a coin flip if she'd get a tear and be bleeding afterward. Skeptical. Some guys fantasy to do that on the regular. The reality is more in line with feeling bad that you hurt someone you love, and know that it'll probably happen again the next time, no matter what. Men don't have to deal with half the stuff women do, so I feel ya sisters, and many men understand. That said, while having penis is awesome, balls are not. Manscaped balls sticking to thighs when it's hot. Non-manscaped balls getting vinegary in summer. A sack is the wrinkliest thing known to man, so manscaping with any sharp implement is always risky. A slight knock on the knacks can make you feel sick for 10 minutes. In the cold everything shrivels. In the heat your balls sag, creating a false perspective against other nearby appendages. When you sit funny and your balls squelch past each other. But I wouldn't trade any of that for periods, pregnancy and double-sided day 4 from care routine. That in June, July and August I can shower and put on clean clothes. 10 minutes later the unmistakable pheromones, scent of sweaty balls is radiating out from me again. No one says anything, but you know you're not unnoticed. And those moments you just happens to walk into a store or similar, and that perfect woman accidentally happens to bend over to pick something up, your balls screams it's go time. While your brain goes no down boy, it's not breeding time. Penis is lack of the things you can control. You can't do anything about the size lol. Some may think it's big. Some may think it's small, and some may think it's just right. There's no universal right. Some women will say as long as you're good in bed, the rest doesn't matter. Some will say it needs to be huge. Some will say it's too big. Lol. The lack of control. 15 minutes before you ejaculate is good for some, and then for some you need twice as long or even longer. Or even shorter than 15 minutes. Lol. Always waking up erect. I always wake up wanting too much to urinate, but I just can't. It sucks. I have to do something else before holding my will, and it's kind of torturous. Also, when I'm peeing and suddenly pee out, it's not something I can control. I don't know if it's just with me, but my penis go out of control sometimes, and it's really inconvenient to have to clean up afterwards. I think it is why some public toilets are so dirty. Balls suck, skin, penis and pubic hair being caught in zippers, underwear pinching loose skin, causing small blood clots just under skin, which take weeks to disappear, heal, and sometimes leave behind hard scar tissue that itches from time to time. I can't sit in tight places, or I could, but I'd need to grab my crotch and lift my package up to make space. Kind of rude in public. It's sweaty. When hot, sweat stinks, and may lead to infection. Yet, washing too often, even with very gentle and dedicated to the area skincare products, may lead to fungal infections. Hair, ingrown hair that rub on skin, and spread infection forward. I've had 5 surgical procedures in 12 months in my genital area because of infected ingrown hair. I have my fiancé go with tweezers over my crotch once a week to pull out suspected offenders. Shaving means 271x more ingrown hair, and inflamed skin. Also witch from hell. I have hair growing on shaft of my penis. Like 60% of it. Was repeatedly told that laser removal is not an option for a male pubic hair. That small stretch of skin connecting bottom side of head to the shaft has a lot of blood vessels. Got questioned by police, because thrown out mattress after receiving careless fellatio from a drunken girlfriend looked like murder scene evidence. Also had stitches there. FGM is a topic that makes everyone angry, rightfully so. Yet mentioning MGM, circumcision, gets so what comments. There are no implant-less ways to give back function of penis in case of injury. If it's even slightly damaged, it's often gone. Passing kidney stones made me suicidal. It's possible to force bound man to have partial erection and force ejaculation by stimulating anally prostate gland, but it's impossible to report it as a rape. Thanks gods I had very low sperm count then, thanks to some combination of medications, or I'd be financially on hook for 26 years. Yet, I still prefer to have penis than vagina. Seeing my fiancé going through off cramps and pain, and blood and just crying in my arms, while there is nothing we can do, is gut-wrenching. 8 So I'm 16 and I recently started shaving my genitals completely bald. The folds and flaps are so annoying and it takes me at least 5-10 to make sure my balls are bald. As for the rest of the area, I just take a trimmer, turn it on and go to town on my cheeks, between cheeks and all over my thighs. Though I still remember the day I took that trimmer to my balls. Specifically on the small piece of skin right under the penis, and I cut a good 1/2 centimeter, probably less, out of the line that divides scrotum right in the middle. Couldn't walk straight for at least a week. This is why we learn self-defense and carry weapons, at least I do. I was followed into a parking lot after literally crossing paths with a dude on the sidewalk. As soon as my back was to him, he put his hood up and turns to start following me. Legit one of the moments I knew I'd be attacked if I wasn't careful. I have several weapons in my vehicle and on my person at all times because of this. He turned and ran when he saw me armed. When you get into a cold pool, your balls and penis shrink back into your body. Then when you get out, your wet shorts wrap around you, shrunken cock and balls like a vacuum seal. So anyone who happens to look at you as you climb your awkward self out of the pool, they'll see your mini sausage and mini meatballs being strangled by your wet pants. Some toilets are super low, as in there isn't much space between the seat and water level. Dipping the tip of your penis into a public toilet is incredibly unsettling, and there is no good way to wash your dick off in the sink in a public, multi-stall restroom. I guess the only upside is it sorta makes you feel like you have a big dong, but that feeling quickly fades when a stranger walks in on you washing it in the sink. I got them off Amazon. I'll have a look at my orders and edit the link and when I find them, not in public. Partly because I only relatively recently started transitioning and obviously don't go many places, and I present as male at work for now. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a deviant and like to wear a chastity cage, so bit of a bump from the cage, but not as bad as a full-on erection. But then the issue is I don't have any panties that are comfortable with the cage for multi-hour use. That the entire world compares and judges sizes based on the length and kind of assumes entirely that all other aspects of the it are either unimportant or basically assumed to be inferable from the length reliably enough from person to person that you can describe the entire thing pretty accurately with only a length when discussing the size of any particular dick. Having a penis means having the biggest weak spot just dangling in the easiest spot to attack. I'm not naive enough to think someone isn't gonna fight dirty. It's not even just fighting either. The anxiety of anything other than me or a woman touching it makes me worry about it so much that even if it doesn't hurt, I recoil harshly if something does touch it. We can't produce fertile sperm either if we get hit in the balls hard enough. When you're in tight underwear and it's a little chilly and your dick pulls up into your body and now you have to coax it out without looking like you're playing with yourself in public and the underwear are working against you. Bonus points if you happen to be doing something like martial arts is a group fitness class, an area already seeks conscious. Taking a piss, but your foreskin is all curled up. Piss flies everywhere and you can't hold back. Small toilets where your dick touches the bowl when you take a shit. Taking a huge dump and water spills your balls and dick. And my favorite of all time, it's sexy time and you about to go at it. Penis decides to not function at all. Just hangs limp and like, not at all dude. Happily my wife enjoys various toys and getting oral more than penetrating. I actually enjoy giving oral and used toys on my so more than penetrating sex. Just use that to wrap it up. Edit. Last bit went off topic. Not speaking from experience, but fear. 10 months of pregnancy to fuck up your entire body for the rest of your life. Not everyone's experience, but some. And you won't know which side you're on until it's too late. Also related, birth-related death. Giving birth is serious, especially worse for black women. Forget about being in a third world country. As a woman, people constantly suggesting to go on birth control for periods. It's not always possible for everyone to take the meds or have an ID. For most people who want them or have them, that's great, but there are a lot of people who can't, and suggesting it as a fix-all band-aid for hormones or issues with menstrual cycles isn't helpful. It's like someone saying something that their body does bothers them and then suggesting you take a medication without knowledge of what's going on. It isn't helpful to give that kind of feedback. Yes, my periods are painful and yes, it sucks, but if you are just a little understanding and give me a little extra time to breathe, I can still keep up and do what needs to be done. Not really answering your question, but my right testicle isn't attached to the scrotum, so I have to be really consciousness in how I move, especially how I sleep, because I run a much higher risk, in comparison to those that have both testicles attached, of a testicular torsion, which for the uninitiated, is when the testicle twists 360 degrees or more inside the scrotum, cutting off circulation to it and causing immense amounts of pain. Left untreated could mean the loss of it. I have a condition called lichen sclerosis. It makes my entire outside lady parts itch like Satan sent a demon to do it himself. What's worse is that this condition causes cancer. Yes, I've already had cancer of the labia once and had to have the part that was cancerous removed. You know that you have the outside lips and then the inside lips. I have no more inside lips. Yes, I know I'm not using the correct terminologies for everything, but I just want to make it simple for everyone to understand. I have to use a steroid cream on my outer vagina every day, and this makes everything very messy. Know what the worst part of all of it is? It causes my vaginal opening to become smaller and smaller. As you can guess, it makes sex more and more painful. I feel so bad for my husband, but thankfully he is very understanding. I have no idea where this is going to end up, but it is what it is, and I just pray that I don't get cancer again. As a rare, in the US at least, uncircumcised male, feeling very sensitive, particular about the current state of lapine if sexual activities are on the horizon. Planning. Hoping for morning sex, better be mindful of pulling back the foreskin when you pee in the middle of the night. Oh, spontaneous roadhead, well, same issue. Gonna need a heads up so I can freshen up before leaving, if even possible. Basically it always revolves around potential for sex without a shower beforehand equals must freshen up, which, as other people posted, is quite difficult with the whole post-pee drip that happens, and also if it's just been a day, the natural odors and whatnot build up more with an uncircumcised ding-a-ling, I assume. That said, I'm really glad I'm uncircumcised. It's the natural state. I think my penis is much more sensitive, and my GF says it's way more comfortable for her as well, cause there's less friction happening. Random boners. The day after masturbate, the increased pressure in your penis and balls that almost forces you to masturbate again. After you wait a day or two, it's easier to have a break from masturbation. Also, the ball hair getting caught by the jeans fabric hurts back and makes people look at you weird because you look like you are scratching your balls really hard. Bartholin cysts. Bartholin glands are the tiny glands all over the vulva that produce natural lubricant. It's very common for them to get irritated and form cysts, and like I said, they're all over the vulva. So one day you wake up and suddenly your left labia feels like it's been stabbed or stung by something, and there's a bit of swelling, or it could be in the hood right next to your clitoris. Either way, now underwear is the devil. Moving around sucks, and wiping after going to the bathroom is torture. Usually they go away on their own after a few days. It's recommended to soak in hot water, no scents or anything like that because UDIs. Unfortunately, if they don't go away or get worse, you have to go to a gynecologist and have them drain it. This is very common and almost never talked about. A lot of women think they get a zit on their labia or something and try to pop it. Don't do that.